let's see, where do we start? Let me just look at my notes first, because I
Yeah,
have to prepare some
no
notes
problem.
first. Yeah, super awesome, man. Glad to finally sort of chat with you
Yep.
face to
Yeah,
face, and of course, I've been hearing all this incredible stuff of this, a young mixing engineer all the way from KK in Sabah. It's like, hey, who's this guy, man? And he's been doing all this stuff, mixing the stuff for Joe, and then while mixing the track which had Snoop Dogg on it as well. So it's like,
yeah.
hey, it's like I've got to talk to this guy, and then and so here we are. Yeah,
Thank you, JD. Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah. I'm just super blessed to be honest. I think later on, you have already sent me some of the questions, but later on, you can probably hear it, and a lot of it is like, whoa, like, wait, what? Like a lot of it is like unexpected. So, but yeah, thanks for having me. I listened to some of the other guys who's on this. Pretty nervous because I don't do a lot of, these kind of podcasts, I guess, podcast like interviews.
I understand the feeling because, I mean, usually for us, audio engineers, mixing engineers, we are so comfortable in our little studios, in
Yeah,
our little, safe spaces that we have here. I don't have to interact too much with other people, except for the artists and the clients that we work with. We
yeah.
can be mixing in the comfort of our studio, just wearing shorts and pants and singlet, don't need to dress up. But
Yeah, especially mixers. I feel maybe like yourself, you own a studio. At least people still come to your studio every day. Yeah, but for me, I hardly meet anyone. The last client that came here was last month, but like once a month, like once a month.
because a
Yeah.
lot of stuff anyway that especially when it comes to mixing is everything's like done remotely, and
Mm.
correspondence and communication with the clients is all like via email or instant messaging. Is that how it's been for you?
Yeah. I think it's the same for everyone. Mainly messages, voice messages are great as well.
Hmm.
Sometimes instead of a call, I'll ask client if they can do voice message, just because like I can listen back. That is like super helpful. Yeah, because sometimes there's once I did a mix was for quite a big client as well. I wrote it down and I was so sure I wrote it out somewhere, but I couldn't find it. But thankfully I remembered it mentally.
Yep,
But
yep, yeah. That's a great thing going for the voice messages lah. I personally, if it's like normal day-to-day interaction, I hate voice messages.
oh, same lah, same.
Because it's
Yep.
but actually now you come to think of it, yeah, when it comes to taking down notes like that, then it's important, then it's very useful, because then there's no you won't get mixed up, or things get lost in translation. If maybe it wasn't a phone call, you take down
Yeah.
notes, and then, oh, maybe the artist or the client meant to say this, but then
Yep.
the notes that
Yeah.
you wrote down or interpreted was taken out. So this is like, oh
Exactly.
yeah, can't go wrong, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think I have to also accept it that there are some
That's
clients who like to communicate with
voice
voice messages.
messages.
Yeah, even though I find it annoying. Yeah,
Sometimes it's knowing if it's as very long. It's like 1 minute, and then you have to like find it. Some of the parts. But
true. Yeah.
yeah.
For me, it's just like, sorry to be just ranting about voice messages.
Nah.
Maybe it's because I'm a little bit more old-fashioned, old school, So, because like it's more of like it's not convenient for me to like listen to the voice message when people are around, or I have people around.
Mm,
That's the only thing. But okay, rant over, man.
makes sense. Makes total
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe let's kick things off a little bit more formally right now. But for those who are listening or watching this, Jason, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yeah. My name is Jason. I'm from KK, Sabah. And I'm yeah.
KK
Uh,
represent.
yeah, KK represent.
Hmm.
Felix is also KK. Another
Correct.
mixer. Yeah, another
He's
mixer.
just down the road from where I am.
Oh, okay, I
Hmm.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, from KK Sabah, I guess now I am a mixing engineer. If you asked me 3 years ago, I would be like, I I don't know about engineer, but yeah, I'm a mixing engineer, I guess now, freelancer in a way. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep.
Maybe we can maybe dive a little bit back so that one of the main things, the main objectives that I've been kind of doing this
Mm,
series of mixed chat podcasts is that I want to talk to a lot of I want to talk to the people who are behind the scenes. I want to talk to people who
yeah.
are my peers, who are colleagues. You and I, we are both colleagues in the same field. And of course, always the highlight it's always on the artists, the celebrities, the musicians. I want to highlight, and shed a little bit of light. Some attention needs to be paid to, folks like you, right?
Yeah.
Guys like you who are the ones who make the artists sound good, who are the ones working behind the scenes. I want to document this. I want to talk to everyone, from the older engineers right down to right the
Wow.
next generation, which you
Yeah.
are certainly part of, right? The I would say definitely the one of the rising stars of the next generation. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I
So
love that. Wow.
it's mainly to satisfy my own curiosity, but I just feel
Oh.
it's important to just document all this because it will be good in the future if another person who's watching this is thinking of, hey, how would my a career would be like in the music industry as an audio engineer, as a
Mm,
mixer,
yeah.
then they can listen to the stories of how all of us have our own paths of how we made our way through this career lah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I love that. I think that makes me wanna, go back and make sure I don't miss any of your of the podcast and and see how
Oh,
everyone's journey has been. So that
yeah, I count
thank you
myself
for
very,
that.
very fortunate and very
Mm,
lucky lah, right, to be doing this and just have the opportunity to chat with you as well. Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, right,
Likewise,
yeah.
likewise. Mm.
I sent you a bunch of questions. Let's maybe go down.
Yep.
Obviously you grew up in KK, right?
Yep.
You were born and bred.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And what was your education like? Like, did your music education specifically? Yeah, were you like, go for any formal lessons when you were a kid? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I'm quite typical. You know, piano as a kid, when I was 5, but I really didn't like it all the way till I was 12, like dreaded it. I told my parents like I can go and learn, but don't make me take theory classes, which I regretted, I regretted, but I was like, I can go and press keys, but I don't want to do theory, I don't want to sit there and draw music notes, which I regretted now. So up till I was primary six, like 12, finally managed to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually in a quite a good school in KK, like a music school.
Mm-hmm.
Good teacher, but I was just, not interested. So every week go also kena scold. So I just hated it. Like I never practiced. Like the most I practice is like an hour, 2 hours before the class. I think a lot of people can relate.
Oh,
But
yes, definitely. You can relate. Yeah.
horrible.
Mm.
But yeah, that's about it for like actual education. But after that, I'm quite involved in church. So that's where I think majority of what I learn musically is from church.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, like a lot of people, I guess, like be that's involved in like a youth group and all that. We were
Yes.
involved in like bands
Mm-hmm.
and picked up guitar, acoustic guitar at like 13, 14, and then really started to like it. I was involved in the band, quite committed throughout my whole high school life. So mainly that was where I got to pick it up, like the music side of things.
Right.
So
So somewhere along the line, somewhere along the path, when was it? Did you ever have a moment where you felt like, hey, music, is something that I want to do, that I really do.
yep,
Was there
yep.
something? Because kind of looking back into your bio, that's not what you studied, right? That's not what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. That there was that moment because like most Chinese background, or
Asian
like
Asian
Asian,
parents,
or sorry, yeah, not just
yeah.
Chinese, yeah, Asian
Mm,
parents, or even for me being an Asian, it's like, how am I gonna do music? Or like I never thought I was good enough. Also, like I was playing in a band, but I wasn't like the best vocalist or like guitar player, whatever. So it didn't make sense to me until when we were 16, 15, or about 17, where our youth leader really wanted to do an album. So we got like a local producer in. He was like also like a freelancer kind of guy. So we worked on this whole album together. Like took us like 1.5 to 2 years. So yeah, that was where I was really, intrigued with like the whole world of like music production. I was like, what? He was doing it off of his like MacBook. I was like, that's so crazy, stuff like that lah. And then he started watching YouTube and like Recording Revolution. I'm sure everyone knows. So yeah, so that. I spent a lot of time. I just find myself, being super curious about it, spending a lot of time just consuming content on like music production when I was like 17, 18. I did think about studying. Actually, that was my initial plan, to study like, music production or like studio and engineer, recording engineer, that sort of thing. But I think for some reason I wanted to come back to KK. I knew that, I want to do that, but at the same time I wanted to be back in KK. Like
mhm,
I don't know why, I'm not sure, but I wanted to be back in KK. So I knew that there was not a lot of studios around in KK. Even if I had a cert, it's like, who's gonna see my cert in KK? And then I do have a few friends that studied like audio engineering that are based in KL, and they ended up doing a lot of like, advertisement work because that's where the money is,
mhm.
voiceover, all that. So I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I just want to, do music that I like, so in my head it didn't make sense also, like why should I go study like any Asian parent, oh my gosh. But like why, why would I want to study to get a cert? So in my mind, at the time, at that age, like, it didn't quite make sense. I'm sure there's the benefit as well, but at the time it didn't make sense, especially because I was hoping to come back to KK. So in
Mhm.
my mind, I was like, if I just keep working on it on the side, like really hustle throughout my uni life for like 6 years, then I should be quite good, right? And I should be good enough that people listen to this and be like, oh, this is good stuff, and like, and they will want to hire me, right? Then I'm like, okay, if that's the case, yeah, I should do like I'm also quite safe lah, to be honest. I was like, just if you read my bio, I did IT programming, which I realized it was not for me. I hated it. But that's what I did. And on the side, I was in my uni and college days, I was, you know, doing a lot of mixing and music production sort of stuff. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much it. Sorry, it's like a long ass. Sorry, I'm sorry for saying long, very long story on that.
No,
Yep.
it's good. Share ever as much as possible. This is all good content. It's good stories. People want to hear. People do want
Mm,
to hear. Individual and everyone's experience of how they made it through because
yeah.
not everyone's leads different life. We all live in different circumstances. Our upbringing, where our upbringing is all different. We grow up differently.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so each of us will need to find our own individual path to whatever we're doing lah. But definitely it's one thing that you pointed out also that you have a degree in IT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the realistic thing is that to be honest, to be realistic, like at least here in the Malaysian music industry, opportunities are not it's not easy to get in lah. So
Mm,
it's good also, it's a wise thing to have something to fall back on. you
mm-hmm.
know Back then, if even a lot of my peers who also kind of got into music, a lot of us
Yeah.
actually went and actually got some degree. We got education, we got that, make our parents happy first, and then we branch out into that, and work our asses off and work hard to prove that we can actually do it lah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them. So it's actually a common story. Yeah. Go get your degree. Go get your cert. All right. And but still at the same time pursue your dreams lah. Yeah.
Mm.
So I think the way that your story and your career path is a good thing, so that we can share for the people. Let's move on to the next important thing, which is the big and major highlight, right, of that sort of kicked everything off. And this was the engineers, the competition. So this one was judged by was
Mixed by
that young
Ali.
Guru and also
Yeah.
Derek? What's
Derek Ali.
Derek Ali, right? Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
Derek
yep,
Ali.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
So tell us a little bit more about that whole thing. What was it about? What was that experience like?
Yeah, like you say, big turning point. If it wasn't for that, honestly, again, super, super blessed. If it wasn't for that event, I'm probably, not in this position. I mean, I'll still be mixing till I'm 30, but I don't know if anyone's gonna know me yet, but I'll still be, trying my best to make it work. So Derek Ali, he has this thing called Engineers. So
Yes.
he's basically trying to make like a platform lah for engineers to streamline their work. Basically for people to find engineers too, because you know it's actually quite hard. I realized that it's actually quite hard to find like good engineers or like mixing engineers or engineers that knows your sound or a sound has a sound that as an artist they might be searching for. It's actually quite hard to find. There's a lot of people, they say they can mix, which a lot of people, can mix, but maybe not to a certain level or that sort of thing lah. So yeah, I realized that. So I think that's something that Derek Ali they all realized as well, and they created this platform. Long story short, okay, I always say long story short, and I end up talking about the whole thing. But so as they was launching that, I think they decided to do like a mix off kind of thing, which I was like, whoa, that's super cool because there is a lot. I think there is a lot out there. Like they do mix competitions, but one that is hosted by someone like Derek Ali, which I loved his work. His Kendrick Lamar album work and all that was very eye opening and inspiring to me and something I looked up to. So when he did that and I saw who were the judges, I was like, oh my gosh! And actually, I didn't see it myself. There was a friend that sent me the poster on Tuesday, and that the day I saw it was I think was like Wednesday or something, and the deadline was on Friday. So I could have missed it actually. I could have missed it, but thanks to this one person, really grateful for him. He sent me this poster, and I was like, and he told me actually he was like telling me, bro, you should join this. I think you're gonna win this. And initially I was like, thanks for the kind words, but and I'm flattered. But no way. But I'll do my best, and funny enough, I actually won the whole thing. But I joined it, and then they were select. So what happened was they just told everyone to like just submit your best work, to this email, whatever. Submit your best work, and then they would choose 32 out of like all the submissions,
Yep.
which in total was about 1,800 to 2,000, I think,
Yep.
submissions. And then they will filter out 32 engineers to have a mix off with one another lah. So okay, I have like short attention span, so I'm trying to like
Try
trying to say a
to
long
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, trying to like say a long thing is quite
So
hard for me.
so those when
Yeah,
you get to the 32, the final 32, right? The round
yeah.
of 32 lah. So it's a mix off. So how was that the format like? Were you given like tracks?
Yeah, it's really cool because they actually got like big artists, major artists from rappers, hip hop artists with like unreleased tracks. So you were actually mixing like
Mm.
unreleased tracks of these artists. So there's 32 of us, so we're separated into two teams. So there's 16, 16, and then it's like a tournament. So you go against
Mm.
another person, and then if you win, it's like a knockout round, right? So
Yeah.
if you lose, you get kicked out, and then it gets to
Then get to
16,
16, and then yeah,
8,
and
4,
then
2.
the quarterfinal, semi-final.
Yeah. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Was there ever a third place runoff match? I don't think so, right?
Uh, I know.
No
Wait,
idea.
what? No, no idea actually.
Because you know when you get to the semifinals, there's actually four teams, and if they
Okay.
kick out, then the loser of the semifinals have to
Oh
face
no, okay,
the
no,
no,
they
right?
didn't do that.
Ah, okay,
No.
yeah, this is
Yeah,
not
like
World
a
Cup lah.
yeah. Yeah, there's no bronze medal. But I think the like everyone that got into like quarterfinals or something get something, or if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So like if you get into instead of like having third place, they're like everyone that got into like quarterfinals, like they get something. So that's that. So yeah, that's how the competition was. They picked out the people, and then like that, like, and every week they would give you one song, and then you have to mix it in like 3 to 4 days. And then they would listen to the mixes. Also, the voting system is quite interesting too. So Ali, young Derek Ali, and Young
Yeah.
Guru is one vote. Two of them is one vote. The artist of the song is the second vote, and the third
Mm.
vote is the audience. So every week they get to go to this page, and then they get to vote, who they prefer. So yeah, that's how it is, and it was a good experience, like, I initially, before that experience, I really didn't dare to call myself an engineer. I think I met up with Ming Aling. I'm not sure if you know about Ming Aling in Penang. He's also a producer in KL. I remember telling him, I was like, I don't know if I can call myself an engineer, but I'll just do it anyways. I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun for me. I can spend a lot of hours on it. And he was one of the first person that tell me after listening to my work, he was like, you're an engineer lah, bro. Don't worry about it. You're an engineer. Just be confident. And I'm like, thank you, thank you. So shout out to Ming Aling. So yeah, so after that competition, like kind of winning some of those people, a lot of it was really close as well. Some of those guys were really good. This one is a good friend of mine now, really, really good engineer. I was shocked that I won him actually I think it was in the semifinals. I thought that was the end for me, because he was a really good. He's like a platinum winning engineer, and honestly, till this day, I am not too sure why I won him. I want to ask the Mixed by Ali and Young Guru, but didn't get the
Right.
chance. So yeah, that was the competition, and I'm very blessed to have won it. Also, yeah, there's someone that helped a lot with getting my name out there, was this guy called Jeremy Saucy, also a producer from KK. Produced some of K Click stuff. He was the guy, one of the guy that was like, Jason, how come no one is talking about this? I'm gonna spam you in all of the producer groups and Twitter and everything, and he got like everyone to start spreading. So
Yep, exactly. Because I can't remember who actually brought you to my attention. Can't
mm.
remember exactly who. Not sure whether it was my friend Chris Pereira. I don't know. You know Chris?
Yeah, I met up
Yeah.
with him as well.
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
So I don't know
yep.
whether was it him or someone else. And then that's where I like hit you up on Insta. Then I was like, hey, is there any? And then I asked you whether was there any press coverage or something like that. And
Yes.
sadly, yeah, because I wanted to put the message out and just kind of post it out on,
Thank you.
on some of the groups,
Mm-hmm.
because again, like any sort of achievement or a highlight needs to be shared, needs to be told, you see.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
sadly, it was only that one. It was a Chinese
Just
newspaper
Chinese,
article,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
not so. So I was like, it should have been a story that should have been picked up by Malay Mail, Star, Utusan. All the main papers should have picked it up. Did they
Yeah.
ever get around to picking it up?
No. Nah.
Right,
Nope. Yeah.
right. Shame on you, okay? Local media, okay, never mind. It's their loss. So of course, then I heard about it. Then it was super super cool. Yeah, I had the opportunity to sort of meet a young guru when he actually came down to
Oh.
KL once. He was like playing a gig lah. So it was like
Mm.
there was too many people vying for his attention anyway. So it's like, okay, don't want to bug him. Just follow him on Twitter, and then that's enough lah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
So
I
that
would
was
have
it.
done the same,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah,
Mm.
because it's like uh, as an engineer, or someone who's and especially because he's so famous as an artist himself.
Yeah.
You don't want to go and bug him and bother him. That's the last thing that I feel like I want to do lah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's probably used to it lah. Yeah.
I feel you. I
Yep,
feel
yep, yep.
you.
It was cool because I think he came down and then he performed, and then he was spinning. He was a DJ at the night, and this I can't even remember the place. The place was in Changkat in KL. I think
Mm,
it's not even there right now. It's closed already.
right, right.
Oh
Wow, this
well,
is quite long ago, right? Quite long.
this is quite long ago lah.
Mm,
Probably 20, I can't remember when, 2014, 2015, around
mm,
that time. Yeah, I mean that club is not even around anymore, you see. Yeah, and
yeah,
obviously, a
right.
lot of things have happened for the past 2 years. How have you been? How did you sort of cope in during the past 2 years?
Yeah, it has been okay for me actually, just because the competition actually happened
Mm,
just when just when not COVID, but just when the lockdown started in Malaysia. So, you know, ever since the competition, like, good things, I've been getting gigs and all that. So it's been okay for me just because,
mm,
I was able to do work from, just my laptop and all
yeah.
that. Maybe it was even kind of good for me because I don't have to, go out. There's no distractions. I was just kind of mixing all day, and yeah. So
Has that been your typical work day? What's your typical work day like? If you got a project that you're working on.
uh, so actually, before I came back
Mm,
to KK, I was actually in Penang,
mm,
staying with friends, and at the time I was like freelancing lah. So at that time when I was in Penang, I was, living a really healthy life. Waking up at 7, make coffee, start working at 8, till 12. All my friends would go off to their work, they'll be working engineers and all that. And I will just be mixing. They let me use this room lah. Didn't have made me pay extra, which was kind of them. And I'll just be mixing in my room and go and have lunch for myself every day, and mix all the way till, like, maybe take a long afternoon nap since I woke up early,
mm,
and mix through the night. That was my
mm.
life in Penang. That was my ideal life, I feel like. But ever since I got back, I was supposed to just visit family, but ended up was stuck in KK.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And then the competition happened and all that
Mm,
sort of thing. So yeah, ever since then, my schedule have been messed up even until now. Not so I work at midnight now. I just don't care anymore. I work, most of the time 1 to 4 in the morning or 5, and then I will sleep till 12, go and have lunch, go
mm-hmm.
get a coffee, come back, and I'll work again, do sports in the evening, something like that. Have dinner at night, hang out with friends, then at 1 I'll work again, something like that lah.
So is
Not
that
typical. Yeah,
so?
if
Yeah. Oh no, I've done that, man. So
okay.
I've done that before. So
That's
next
good
time
to
I
know.
know. So next time I know at 1 a.m. is there. If you want me
Yeah,
to bug, I can bug you at 1 a.m.
no problem, JD, no problem.
I don't do that. I have a rule for myself. Like after 12, I don't even pick up
Oh,
the phones or
really?
answer messages or anything like that. It's like after a while, I need to have some balance lah. And
Yeah,
then and it's more of like clients as well. They got to know sort of know the boundaries. Yeah, otherwise
mm.
they will start calling you and bugging you 24 hours a day. Yeah. So I'm sure you mentioned you do take time off for yourself, you do spend time for
Yeah.
yourself. It's awesome that a couple of times I tried to arrange this, to plan this on a Sunday, but then you say, oh, Sunday is family time. Yeah. And I think that's great. That is awesome. That is a super super healthy thing to do lah.
Yeah.
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 As much as we immerse ourselves in our work and our craft and our art, you gotta have a little bit of balance as
Yeah.
well lah. Yeah,
For sure, for sure.
for
It's
sure.
also about like the mental, right? You have to be able to keep the mental strong so you can keep going. If you just keep grinding, and you know, you'll burn
Burnout
out.
is real. Yeah,
Yeah.
burnout is very very real. I mean, in this industry, it's very very easy to
Mm-hmm.
burn out. I've come close to it a couple of times or so where you just cannot be grinding at top gear. And
Yeah.
your pedal, your accelerator pedal all the way down all the time. You're gonna
Yeah.
wear out some parts. Something is going to, whether mentally or physically or emotionally lah, it will wear out. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good lesson, for anyone who's in this. You have to take time for yourself and take care of
Yeah.
your, especially now, I think we're a little bit more aware of the importance of our mental health as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've managed to also talk to a lot of other engineers and musicians also who have also shared their, their own ways of dealing with this lah. Let's talk a little bit about the more geeky technical stuff. This is where all the whoever the engineer audiences are, they will like to know lah, Yeah. What's your setup like? What do you work on right now? Are you in, like, outside your studio or?
I would love to like have a place outside my studio, to be honest, but again, I work mostly midnight,
Mhm.
so that's a bit tricky because
Mhm.
like at midnight, you want to drive somewhere so far away, and at the moment, I have a good sized bedroom,
Yeah.
so that's just yeah. But initially, I was in Penang, so I had a room at the time over there. But the COVID and the whole situation, I just gotten used to working off my bedroom. But yeah, I treat it. I mainly mix off headphones. I think most people that follow me knows that I mainly mix off headphones.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. MacBook, my gear, MacBook 2019, the MacBook just before the M1.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that situation, but it's okay. I think I'll wait for M2.
Mhm.
What else? My current interface is the Apollo Twin
Mhm.
X. Also, the my converter is the Solaris by Crane Song. Yeah, and my main headphones at the moment is HD 800 S Sennheisers.
Sennheisers.
I'm using Kalis as well. I saw you using Kalis.
Oh, sweet.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm using the In 8s. The
Mhm.
In 8s.
Those are the newer
Yes.
ones. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Also, I have Cube speakers influenced by MixedByAli. I don't use it as much to be honest, but the ref tones, not the aura tones, ref tones.
Right. Right.
That's pretty much it actually.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting. You say that you primarily mix on the on your headphones, and and is that by choice or sometimes is it just because of necessity?
Necessity, I guess. Yeah, initially a necessity. Also because at the time I was in Penang, I knew I would move quite a bit. So, with the room, it was just so much work. Unless I have like one room, that is like dedicated and I know I will be there for like the
Long
next
term,
few
yeah.
years, long
Mm.
term. That makes sense. But, it just didn't make sense. And also because I didn't, I don't know much about acoustics and all that. I knew I can put up panels, but like what materials, how like is it treated enough, all this sort of thing? Even if it is, there's just so much hassle. And even when I was, before I started mixing as a freelancer or like full time, I got like the HD 6XX, which are HD 650 Sennheisers.
Mhm.
So I've just gotten really used to them. So yeah,
It's
yeah. And also because like high-end headphones are a lot cheaper than high-end studio monitors, If you want to get that level of definition on speakers, it's gonna go up to like 5 digit.
Yep, that and also
So
the room itself.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's actually quite a interesting shift, and more and more people are actually starting to mix and even master on headphones.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
shifting towards that way. People want to have the flexibility of working from not just home but working on the go, right?
Yeah.
Mobile, they can be wherever they are, and you have always that same consistent frame of reference, which is
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, which is
Exactly.
that is not
That's the
influenced by
biggest
the room.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like I can bring at the time I also had, I think I had Kali's, if I'm not wrong. But if I can bring it, if I really need, I can bring it back and forth, but it'll sound different in like different rooms. So
Yeah. And then it's the whole, the mental readjustment every time, you move them
exactly.
around.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
if I had like, one set of headphones that it sounds the same everywhere. I don't have to worry about,
Mm.
it sounding different, and I can just focus on improving. So yeah, and a lot of people recently also, like even in the local scenes, they are moving to headphones. Like I think John G's, I think he also told me like he moved to HD 650s.
Even a lot of big names, I think some of the biggest names like Andrew Sheps, he's like,
Yeah.
proponent of mixing on Sony MDRs. Is like, wow, how do you mix on those, man?
Yeah, yeah. Michael Brower is mixing
Also,
on Yeah, and also Manny American,
Mm-hmm.
he just released like his like co-sign headphone with Odyssey, which I am so tempted to try,
Mm-hmm.
because I love Odysseys. I used to have Odysseys LCDX, but then I moved to Sennheisers because of the mid-range. Odysseys are
Uh-huh.
great,
Mm,
translation amazing, bass definition amazing, everything, but the mid-range was lacking.
mm,
And that was majority of mixing problems, right? The mid-range clashing and
yep.
harshness, whatever. There was a nice kind shop in KL that allowed me to kind of rent the HD 800s. I rented it, and I was like, wow, I was mixing so much faster because with the 800s there was just like better high mids and highs definition, and it was just a lot more fun to listen to as well. Like,
Mhm.
so I ended up changing to that. But the Manny's headphones, I think I was reading. He said it sounds a lot like the LCD Odyssey's LCD fives, and I think I was reading up on the LCD five, and they say they have a lot better like mid range compared to my old LCDX headphones. So
Right.
I'm really yeah, I'm really interested in that. So
Super, super cool, man. Yeah,
yep, yep,
I've not really gotten too much into
headphones.
headphones. Yeah, mainly because I have a luxury of my own place and I've been in
Mm.
my place for a long time. But yeah, it's definitely something that's worth experimenting and exploring because so many people are getting into it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use any like correction software or any of those thingamajiggies like Waves NX and all that?
I used to when I was on my HD 6XX Sennheisers, which I think it's called Sound ID now, the SonarWorks one.
Sonar
It
works, yeah.
sounds it sounds really good with 650s. It does it really well. But when I switched to Odyssey, it didn't do well at all. Like everything was just messed up to me. Like the
Mm.
placement, everything was just like, wait, why? Why is it something like this? So ever since I switched to Odyssey, I stopped using it, but it was still okay.
So any of those the more fancy like those binaural, those modeling like the Waves NX or Slate VSX stuff, have you ever tried those?
I tried the Slate one
Mm.
2 weeks ago.
Ah.
I'm actually quite surprised. I was quite surprised.
Mm.
Wow. Because someone here in KK has it.
Mm.
So we were working on a project, so I went over to his place to make mix revisions, but
Yeah.
also to try the headphones. I was actually surprised because the thing with headphones is, like you cannot really picture the stereo image, right? Like with speakers, I feel it's really obvious when like something's in front of you and you can kind of, put
Yeah.
things here, put things there, that sort of thing. But with headphones, it takes a little bit of imagination because, it's
It's
blasting
a
left
little
and
bit,
right.
yeah, yeah, the separation is exaggerated.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it takes a little bit of imagination. But when I use the Slate headphone, when my friend, enabled the plugin, I was like, I, yeah, he actually caught me off guard, and I thought he was playing from his speakers at first, like the first 2 seconds maybe.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. I think if I would still probably go for Sennheisers, but that was quite interesting actually.
I've heard that comment as well, when people talk about the Slate VSX lah. It's like, wait, it's like, hang on, am I on headphones or am I listening to the speakers in the room? That has been a
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I
Okay.
didn't like try, like take it home and mix a song with it, but just like first impression, initial
Yep,
impression.
yep, yeah. Eventually, you still need to spend time on it lah to see whether
Yeah,
it works and it fits within your workflow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. So, what DAW are you using?
I'm on Logic. I'm on Logic. Yeah.
So,
Uh,
Team Logic.
I'm Team Logic. I wanted to go Pro Tools, but my friends from Pro Tools want to come to Logic, so I'm like, okay, like if you want to come, I'm.
Well, I think the decision's been made for a lot of people now. Now that Pro Tools has gone to the subscription model. Yeah,
Mm,
so I don't know. It's when it comes to subscription models for the DAWs, right? I think it's a very divisive issue lah. Some people were
mm,
like, wow, they were like, oh, I'm gonna ditch Pro Tools forever. But some people were like, oh, that's great. So you get mixed reactions lah. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
what sort of a plugins do you use? Your go-to studio tools, so to speak.
Fat filter
Mm,
stuffs are amazing.
mm,
The plugin alliance stuff, I'm subscribed to the bundle. The SSL9K, I use that a lot, because I don't know if you heard of this rock solid audio controller. So it basically controls like plugins. Initially, I got it. I regretted it at first. I was like, why did I get this thing? Why? Why? I was like, why did I waste my money? But then there was this one day, like last month, I had to mix two songs in a day. Like the client was like, Jason, can you mix two songs in a day? I was like, I don't know if that's possible, but I'll say yes and let's see how it goes. And that's where I found this was so useful. Like, you know, I was just flying, I was just like, there's this plugin called Plug Search where you can like search for plugins instead of scrolling and looking for them. So you just
mm.
hit like whatever button you set it to, and then you type the plugin name, hit enter, and the plugin shows up. So I was just doing that, and then like anything I wanted, I was like, it likes high end, I can just twist the knob, it likes low end, I can just quickly reach to my left and twist the knob instead of having to use a mouse. When, yeah, during that day, I realized like, you know what, this is good.
Yeah, the controller really comes
Yeah,
in
yeah,
handy,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But back to what plugins I use. Mainly Fat Filter. What else? Reverb recently, the 7th Heaven is quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
A client got me onto it. Delay, still H delay, saturation, decapitator, you know.
Those are
Amer-
like quite
yeah,
the usual suspects, lah.
the usual, yeah. But recently, JD, if you haven't tried the God Particle, you should go and try by Cradle Audio. It's a very interesting plugin. Is I don't know if you
No,
know
I don't
Jason
think so.
Joshua. Yeah. So
I yeah.
he recently released a plugin with Cradle Audio, the
Mm-hmm.
company, and it's basically like his idea of it is like that is his console. So basically, put it on your tubas and mix into it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what else to say. It sounds really good.
What does it
uh,
do, Yeah, like what was it supposed to be?
I
Is it supposed to be like the master section of a console or
I think there's a lot of things behind like
Mhm.
the plugin, but I think he doesn't want to reveal it. He doesn't want to say. He say, just mix, just don't think. It sounds great. Just think of it as a console. You don't know what's behind a console. It just sounds amazing. Put it on. But I know for sure there is a multi-band.
Mhm.
Uh so it's quite interesting because there's a multi-band, and then on the plugin it has indicator lights. So if you're and I'm pretty sure it's an RMS meter instead of like peak meter,
Mhm.
because that was the setting on its ozone. So it's really helpful because you can see like, yeah, it's your mix lacking low end, it's your mix lacking high end. And of course, it's you don't have to follow it, but it's just like for a reference. So there's a multi-band in it. There's a limiter. I think he called it adaptive limiter. Not too sure what that means, but it is really interesting because I I was blown away because I was working on two songs that day when it came out, and then when the plugin came out, I bought it right away. Sat down, I replaced all my stereo bus stuff. At the
Mhm.
time, the mix was already done. Like it's already done. Client already kind of approved it already. It was
Yep.
risky, but I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm like, you know what? If it's better, let's do it. I bypassed all my stereo bus stuff. Super risky, but I kept it lah.
Mhm.
So if I need to go back and
You can
just
always go back to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I put the God particle there and I was blown away like how much louder it is, like how much it kept, like despite the multi-band, despite the limiting, how much like more alive it felt.
Mm.
The width also was I don't know if I like that much width, but I do remember comparing my mixes with like Suburban and all that, and like found myself lacking a bit of width. So I was like, you know what? He's probably right, so that's that. I think there's an EQ curve as well. He
So
he
it's doing
basically tried
yeah,
a lot.
it's
It's
doing a
actually doing
bunch
a
of
lot.
stuff.
Yeah, behind.
Okay, I got to check it out then.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. I don't think it's
Mm.
for everyone. Also, it's a taste thing. Some people it's like I just don't like Jason's kind of sound. Because it's very subjective. So
Yeah, it's definitely those that oh, this is like his, it's how he gets his sound. it's
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a particle
It's
combination
what
of
he
audio
likes.
processing. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah.
it's yep, I think it's a lot of them trying to replicate his hardware units.
Mm.
So he used to like, like to hit his drums going into like Neves and all that. So they were doing a lot of stuff. I'm not even I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to check out lah. Yeah. Some of
Yep,
these
yep.
plugins you can't really see what's under the hood one. It's just like, the user interface lah. It's like that, which
Yeah.
sometimes can be good because then you are really relying on your ears, you see.
Yeah,
You're not distracted by, oh,
exactly.
look at all the meters and all the LEDs and the flashing lights dancing around.
Exactly.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it can be a
Yeah.
good thing as well.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
idea. That's the idea of the plugin. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
So, what
Yes.
I mean, with your current setup, I mean, what would
Mm.
do you feel like there's anything that's you're frustrated with, any hindrances, or or are you like super happy and contented?
The MacBook. The
Oh, that
MacBook.
you mentioned that already. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not enough. It's not enough. Power, and is it CPU lah, CPU. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's never enough lah, but I don't know if the M1 maybe it's enough with the now that there is the M1
Yeah.
Studio.
Yeah, but
But
might as
yeah,
well be worth. You might as well wait until the M2 comes out, right?
yeah,
Because it's already been,
exactly,
yeah, that's been
announced.
planned. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's more powerful, so yep, you're absolutely right. So yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah, but it's still risky, right? If you like move to, because sometimes with the
mm,
plugin developers, it's not compatible.
yeah,
It's now only where most of the plugin compatibles are plugin developers are have sort of sorted out the M1 compatibility issue, and now
mm,
M2 comes out, so I don't know, it might be a
yeah,
real risky thing to
yeah.
but then
As
again, you wait a little bit longer. Then after they announce something new, pula.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
that I understand the feeling. It's always that frustrating trying to chase, yeah,
Yeah,
trying to chase all the
yeah,
technological stuff. So, but
yeah.
you're
It is
pretty
what it
pretty
is.
happy with your workflow and everything that you set up with, lah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So far it's okay lah.
yeah.
Would love to have the SSL U8. That would be nice. I
Oh,
saw
okay,
people.
right.
Yeah,
So you
I,
understand
I,
this controller, yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't need it. I don't think I need it, but it would be nice.
It would be nice to have, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, lah. Yeah.
and Manny's headphone lah. I think I'm really curious to try because I love Odysseys. They translate really well.
Hmm.
Odysseys translate really well, especially the low end. Like with Sennheiser's, great mid range, all that translation isn't as good as Odysseys, but I can mix my mid range better with Sennheiser's, and I mix faster. So
Right. Okay. And sometimes
I'm
that's what you want, right? You want to mix faster if you can get you. I don't know.
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I think I mix when I mix faster. I do mix better as well. Like I compare my mixes with the ones I did with Odysseys, and Sennheisers. I do find my mixes with Sennheisers are better just because I have better mid range. Like
Hmm.
low end, I feel like you can kind of go back and forth with your car and speakers and try to get it right,
Yep.
test on the M50s, all that. um but with mid-range, there's so much, there's so much.
Yeah.
Is it the
You
vocals,
have
is it
to
the
get it.
piano, is it the
Yeah, that one you got to get it right, lah. The trick is really, really, really there. I mean, it's easy to make things sound nice, bright, and airy and fizzy, right? It's
yeah,
easy to, you just need a little bit more sub or something like that. It's easy to, but the mid range is where that's where it separates
yeah.
the men from the boys, lah, so to speak.
I guess,
Right.
I suppose,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
that's super. Yeah, yeah. That's real cool, man. Yeah, working fast is definitely an important thing. If the thing helps you to work faster, I mean, what are the other great benefit is you're
mm,
less fatigued. You don't spend
yeah,
time listening to the thing over and over again.
yeah,
Your brain, your ears don't get fatigued and saturated by listening to the same things over until you don't make the objective decisions lah anymore.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you. Make and then make faster. You can mix more songs. Next time when the
Mm.
client comes to you and asks, "Can you mix 3 songs in a day?" Then maybe you can do that lah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Yep. 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 What's
Um,
your usual work pace like? How many songs do you mix a day?
I actually just keep it as at one a day
Mm-hmm.
max.
Yeah.
But even then, sometimes it's not really. I'll take a long time lah, just because to me, I get quite obsessed with like how it sounds and the balance, So
So
if I
it's
were to
about
mix, yeah, if I were to mix fast, I can, and it does sound good as well. Like one of the two songs that I have to mix twice, two songs a day was Zapin Lebaran by Ernie Zakri,
mm-hmm.
which yeah, I think was trending and it was like over 1 million views in like 2 weeks. Um, and it actually sounds great, like it sounds great, and it was mixed in like 2 to 3 hours, just
Mm-hmm.
because it was like really rushed, and I was like, just do it, and I'm quite close with the producer Yuka, and we work on quite some stuff together, so I know she wouldn't. She's confident in like my ears, and I'm
Yeah.
confident with like
You won't
giving what.
be
Yeah, it won't be like a mess. Like
fussy,
yeah,
don't
like
get
oh my
fussy about
gosh,
yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
what is going on? That yeah, it won't be like Jason this totally off. So I'm like, I knew that already. So I was just mixing and I was just sending like as soon as like it sounds good, I don't want a second guess. I was just sending her mix one. It's like, okay, I'll go work on the second song, get the notes from her. And then when she give me notes, it kind of gives me a new perspective also.
Yeah.
It still sounds great, but I spend time. I take my time sometimes. I just get obsessed.
Like
So
so do you like well you pretty much get most of the I would say maybe the majority of the mix all in one day, right?
mm.
And then over the next what you take your time just to make incremental changes here and there lah.
Yeah, pretty much. Or I always compare, our like you listen to a bunch of Serban's mixes. I have like playlists of Serban, Jason,
Mm-hmm.
Manny, whoever's mixes. I listen to a bunch of these mixes, and then I'll play my song, and then I'll be like, I'm not
Oh
satisfied. I'll be like, ah, and I'll go back. If I have the time, I would do that. But
yeah.
sometimes if I don't have the luxury of time, and it will still sound good. Like it's
Yeah.
just um, so it's
Yeah,
like that
sometimes
lah.
you got to balance the yeah
Yeah.
you got to balance delivering things in a timely manner and yeah, on the other hand wanting to spend as much time as possible to get it perfect. Well, as you
Yeah.
know, the cliche is like, the mix is never finished, right? It can never be finished.
Yeah.
It can only be abandoned.
Yeah.
So
I take the approach of like, like working with the producer as well quite a bit. It's like, when I think it sounds like really good, and if he also thinks it sounds really good, and if he's like very happy with it also, I know it's kind of there already lah. So
that's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it does help, because it's a teamwork thing as well. There
Yeah.
has to be there has to be good communication.
Yeah.
There needs to be understanding. There needs to be trust between the producer, the mixer, and to an extent also to the artist as well, right?
Mm.
Yeah, because
Yeah, for sure.
if anyone comes into the whole process with that, with a little bit of that, always second. If you have someone always second guessing your decisions, every step of the way, it's
Yeah.
do you ever have you encountered any
Yep. Yep.
problem, or
And
situation?
most, yeah, yeah, for sure. And most of the time is when I don't ask enough about the song. Like I feel like something I learned from a friend of mine from also in the competition. Shout out to Vicucia Music, Vic. He said to over communicate, which I really agree, and that helps me a lot. Always over communicate. Like I get into that problem if I don't, ask them about the rough. I would definitely ask them to send their rough, and I will ask them like, what do you like about this rough? What do you not like about this rough? Because that gives me so much info of like where they are at. Because they can say like, I love this rough, and you're like,
Mm.
oh, okay, really respect it. But even if they didn't say that, I would still really respect the rough, because something I learned from Richard Fudge is, musicians are really good at making blends. So keep their blend, because they are very good at that, but
Yeah,
they're just not trained to listen out to frequencies and like dynamics and like getting it loud. They don't not trained to get like a modern vocal sound, whatever lah, but
yep,
all the mixing stuff. But they're good at making blends. So,
yep,
respect the rough for sure.
yeah. Just make it better.
Mm,
Yeah. Oh, I like the
yeah.
rough. Yeah, that phrase always comes out. Oh, we like the rough. Just make it better.
Yeah, like I would ask like what is better, like And then they will tell me if they tell me like, the low end or like the drums is, then I'm like, okay, I know where he's at. I'm still gonna do my thing, I'm still gonna go in and like make it
Mm-hmm.
sound the best I can. But
Mm-hmm.
in the same time, it's always kind of in the back of my mind that, like this is what he likes. So I will like sometimes when I'm very deep in the mix, I will listen back and be like, okay, am I, and I will bump it louder, louder than my mix, so that, because sometimes if your mix is louder, you will think that it's better,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah, but you
Always,
know,
yeah, always need to have that, that the equal when you A B listen lah. Yeah, always.
yeah, yeah.
That's very
I
cool.
did.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, a little bit of your insight into your workflow. What your thought processes are. Again, it's super
Yeah,
super cool. Very very useful information. Right? Maybe I'll steal
yeah.
some of these things myself.
Anytime,
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah. We're all
Yeah.
it's all learning process lah. It's like even if you don't ever stop learning, how to do, you learn from the old masters, you learn from your peers,
Mm,
you learn from new folks. There's always opportunities to learn, and we have to always be open to it lah.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
it's
for
not nothing
sure.
worse than being the and a senior old jaded engineer mixer who like, oh, this is my way of doing things. It's like, oh, it has to be this way. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, that could be a whole different subject and topic. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Agree, 100%. Yeah, because like the guys that I look up to, like Manny, Jason, all these guys, like even at their level, that like if you listen to them, like their recent like whatever interviews, whatever, they're always still learning and they're always
Mhm.
like finding new tricks. And it's like if at their level they are doing that, it's like I'm so far away, so
Yeah, if they are, have that attitude and that mentality, that should be something that we all should emulate as well. Yeah,
yeah.
these are all good habits and good traits of successful people. Let's move on to another just a couple more. Yeah, we'll wrap up real soon. Can you maybe say what was your proudest work so far? Is there anything that you would highlight that you always point people to and see, and say, hey, this was like, yeah, this mix was the one that was I'm really happy with. Is there
Yeah.
one or maybe two?
um I think you can relate to this. It's quite hard because
Mm.
as I don't know, but like as mixers, your ears are always developing. You're always kind of improving. So
Mhm.
you always feel like your older mixers are not that great. Like I love Chow, like Joe Flizzo. It sounds,
Mhm.
it's great and it's like a lot of views and it's an amazing song and I do love that song. But at the same time, like I do think I'm better than when I mix that song now. So it's hard for me to point it out. But if there's a few of that song, maybe Chow is
Mhm.
one. Chow. I could have had a little bit more air on the vocals, but it's fine.
I'm,
uh, yeah.
I'm sure no one in the comment section ever said that. I
Yeah,
wish your
yeah.
vocal had a little bit more air in it.
Nah.
So
Yeah, yeah. That maybe Penat. I realized Penat was something that a lot of people really like.
Penat was
Penat,
by.
Diane,
Mhm. Right.
produced by Quiz. I also learned a lot from Quiz. I think I'm not sure what it was recorded with, but that vocal had a lot of hiss, and we have to use Waze NS1,
Mm.
and that was where I'm like, whoa, what a plugin, I thought like it was gonna remove a lot of the clarity, which it kind of did a little bit of the high end, but it was fine for that song. It didn't need that much. It kind of suited it, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was a good one.
Because you had no idea under what situation it was recorded in, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I could have asked Quiz, but
Yeah.
yeah, recent work has been quite good also with like Resort. I don't know if you heard of the band Resort. Some of their, yeah, I've been
Where
working
are
on
they
them.
from?
KL.
Oh, okay. All right. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So they are. I
There's
think they've
so
been
many
around.
bands. There's so many
Oh
bands
yeah.
out there right now. It's impossible to keep track
That's a good
of
thing.
it.
That's a
Yeah.
great. That's a great thing. Yeah.
Yes, it's a good thing. Yeah.
Only recently, right, JD? Like I haven't been long enough to know. Like,
Mhm.
is it like in the English scene, especially English pop scene? Is it only like let's say in the last 5 years that
I
they're
would say so. It's like this sort of growth of the number of bands was around, yeah, 2016, 2017 onwards, where because I think between 2011, 2012, there were very, very few
11,
bands,
12?
yeah,
Oh.
so there was, it's like waves lah, they're not the plugin,
Mm.
it's there's like waves, if I were to say, sort of go back to where the first wave was like late 90s, early
Mm.
2000s. That's where, like, OAG, John's
Mm.
Mistress, that era, that would be the first wave of all those indie bands. And second wave would be like Bangface, Hujan, Meet Uncle Hussein, Bittersweet, right?
Mm.
Um, and I was like very fortunate to be in the middle of that era. Then there was, in between those waves, right? There is a big dip one. There will always be a big dip, so there were very, very few bands coming out. Then in 2016, 2017, there was this growth.
Six,
Yeah,
2016, twenty
there
seventeen.
was this,
Wow.
yeah. I started seeing, because bands started putting out EPs and albums again. It's like, hey, where is all this coming from, right?
Wow.
Because before that, it's a singles driven market, but now we're
Yeah.
seeing a little bit more of that lah. And
Yeah.
things obviously got disrupted because of COVID,
Yep.
but hopefully, we can pick up the pieces of where we are lah, the whole industry lah, not just bands, which is where, that's kind of where my niche is. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, we want to see that with hip hop, with R&B, with all the other, with jazz and all that as well lah.
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, especially with like TikTok now, I think there's a lot of more ways, I guess, to kind of make it. So I really hope that
Don't
yeah.
don't say anything about TikTok to me, because it's like I'm like totally clueless. Okay, right? That's like, I have no idea at all. Okay, yeah, it holds a whole generational thing already. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, but it is helping a lot. TikTok is interesting.
true, true, true.
Like yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
that's a whole different world, and a different ball game that new artists and musicians are playing with. It's like, oh, I cannot relate. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's
How young are
okay.
you?
How young?
Yeah,
25. I'm 25 this year.
25, man. 25 and rocking and kicking it. You've got like, definitely have decades of bright things ahead for you, man. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I know. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully the whole music scene in Malaysia, like you say, I can rise together. So
Yep.
yeah, then yeah, lor. Especially with the technology now and social media, internet. Hopefully lah. Yeah.
Super awesome. What's
Yep.
anything in store for Jason Huang? Anything that you want to plug in? Any personal stuff or projects that you want to plug?
Let me think.
Anything that maybe we should check out? You know, anything that you've mixed recently, or it's going to come out soon, that you feel like, oh, yeah, stuff that you should definitely check out.
Um, I don't know if I can,
It's still
like,
under NDA,
yeah,
is it? Yeah,
yeah. I don't.
non-disclosure. No,
Yeah.
if it's non-disclosure, you can't disclose it.
I
Yeah.
better not.
Mm.
That's not. Yeah, but no, no. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing yet. I mean, I think I would love to be more and more involved, in the scene. Like as a mixer, sometimes you're just in your room and everyone just sends you like whatever,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
mixes. But I do enjoy like meeting people and like getting to know the scene. Um, so yeah, if anyone watching is in the scene, feel free to hit me up. And if I'm in KL, I will try to make the time and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I don't know.
Definitely, please do. If I were to go to KK, and my a trip to
Yeah,
KK is long overdue, I got to visit so many
come,
people over there.
come.
All right. I'll
Yes,
definitely hit you up there, and then we can hang
yes.
out. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have to.
Hang out
Um,
and test headphones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come over. I have a bunch. And you can test the converter as well. I don't know if you heard the Crane song Solaris. Sounds amazing.
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
it definitely, it's I'm sure it is. That's your the DA, right? It's a
yeah, the
DA, right?
DA.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
I just threw a lot of money to my monitoring, just mixing. So I was like, in my mind, that's like I'm
It's
like,
where it counts. That's the important thing.
yeah,
That's where it counts, you
yeah.
see? Yeah.
The shipping was so expensive.
Mm.
About 2K. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
well,
That's
I'm sure you're gonna
yeah, yeah.
recoup the cost already, lah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing I really do wish, right, is
Mm.
that and it's one of the personal grievances of mine is that, hey, all the labels out there and all your artists, please at least put the credits in your YouTube videos or wherever lah. It's like when I check out this song, I have no idea. It sounds good. I have no
Uh,
idea who worked it, who was the engineer, who was the producer, who mixed it. Because you just want to check
yeah.
out, you see, and check out the competition, lah, so to
Yeah,
speak. You
yeah,
see,
for sure.
you just want to know, who did this amazing work, and because you should be given credit lah. But anyway, that's another of my side rants. I
I
digress.
feel you.
So I can go and check out and say, oh, right, this was mixed by Jason. Oh, this was mixed by John. This was mixed by Felix here and there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would just wish that would be a more common practice lah. But
for
anyway,
sure.
yeah, yeah, we cannot make too much noise here. After people say that, oh, you all engineers all trying to be all arrogant. Yeah.
No, actually, for my experience, I mean, I haven't been around for too long, but working with like Def Jam, and it has not been too bad, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like there's a few times like Young Raja stuff, like initially I wasn't credited on YouTube. Then I was just like, just dropped the text to the manager at the time. Then he was like, oh yeah, super sorry about that. And then they got it settled in like the next
Mm.
week. Yeah, so actually I think people are quite some people are, at least they're there's, I'm not sure about everyone because I don't know everyone, but at least from my experience, it hasn't been too bad. And so
Okay,
hopefully it will continue to people will be more aware of that, because I think everyone also understands that as mixers or producers, we need our credits lah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, the whole the song title, the video, and whatever, it's all the artwork and all that. It's all them already. So we're just asking for that one little line there. Not too
Yeah.
much to ask. It's coming up to 12.
Yep.
Over here, it's about time for you to get to work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, time
Yeah.
for you to get to work. Like, I don't want to keep you any longer. It's really awesome to be able to, just have a little chit chat with you, go and dive into the mind of Jason Huang. Is maybe we'll wrap this up. Do you have any thoughts, any piece of advice that you would give any up and coming engineer, musician, artist, or whoever, or maybe words that you would that you have told yourself like 10 years ago when you were 15 back then.
That's a good one. And a tough one. Honestly, I think everyone's journey is different, so it's a little bit hard to say like word of advice for.
Mhm.
But I would say for me, at least for my journey, which I don't know if it will be, applicable to everyone, but practicality, be practical, see how you can play the long game. Initially, if it wasn't for the competition, I would still be mixing. In my mind, I was like, I'm just gonna mix till I'm like 28 or 30 and just do what I like. I just have to like, as long as I make about 2 to 3K, in my mind at the time when I was 22, when I just graduated, I was like, as long as I make about 2 to 3K a month for the next 4 years, I'm happy. But in the same time, I was just focused on like trying to get good. It's like, how can I just be good and acknowledge that, try to be your worst critic, acknowledge that you're just, judge yourself and be like, you're not good, you're not good. And I think which is not good, but also keep your mental health for sure. But but in the same time, just keep think how you can, if you can do it for a long time
Mm,
and focus on being good, then I'm sure, in 5, 6 years, your skills being at a certain level most probably will want to pay you lah, even if it's not much, and you can keep working from there. I think, yeah, it
yeah.
was a lot of like practicality for me, because I even at one point, because I just wanted money, because I just wanted to survive and mix, like I didn't care, like in my mind, I was like, I just want to mix, I didn't, I was like, I don't care, I just, no, actually one of the biggest drive for me was not to go back to IT.
Mm,
I did an internship and I hated it. I knew if I go back, I would be depressed. So I was like, no, I really didn't want to go back. So that was a big drive for me. Yeah. So I I even got to a point where I was like doing subscriptions. Like I realized that a lot of hip hop artists, they have a bunch of like, you know, songs that they have like wrote over, beats that they got off YouTube and all that. So I was like doing subscription, like, you know what? Whatever you can pay me, 100 USD, and I'll in that just pay me 100 USD a month, and whatever you send me that month, I will mix it,
mm,
And I was getting to that point, it's like I was like, I'll just mix anything, I don't care. And then, one person pays you 100 USD, about 400 ringgit. Yeah, I just need five, like just get
yeah.
five people. So a lot of practicality, but it's not for everyone. I think it's not for everyone. But for me, I really didn't want to
You
go
could
back
not
to
see your,
IT.
yeah, you couldn't see
Yeah.
yourself, doing. You saw
Yeah.
yourself. This was what you wanted to do. Like you were
Yeah.
very, very sure and dead certain and determined that this is
Yeah.
what you want to be, and
Yeah.
this is who you are.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't have one piece of advice, but that long rant was probably it, It,
Yep,
it, it takes
yep.
quite a bit. It takes quite a bit. You have to really want it, I think.
Mm.
Yeah. If you don't really want it, then it's a bit hard. I think it's a
It's
bit hard for
yeah,
it to
that
work.
it's probably not the career path that the choice for you for you lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
really want it.
JD, can I say one thing before before
Oh,
maybe I don't know?
yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
I,
Go ahead.
you mentioned about the first time someone brought up my name, but the first time I heard of you was actually when I was 17 or 18. Uh when I heard
The
my
band.
friend played
Yeah.
my friend played X Church CD in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I heard it and I was like, wow, why does it sound so good? I'm like, oh my goodness. At the time, because I was recording like acoustic guitars and all that sort of stuff. So when I heard, like, I don't remember which album. I don't even know what albums they have, but like it was on the CD. He played it, then I heard it, and I'm like, wow, it sounded so good. And then that's where I looked up the credit and I saw your studio. I think it has your name there. So I was like, so from there I knew you were around. I knew that your studio was around, and it was something that a lot of people is like, you
Oh,
know,
in
look up
that's
to.
yeah, that's so interesting, you see, because that's totally unexpected. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I have to share this and let you know. So
That's super cool. That was definitely a very very memorable. I think it was I if I'm not mistaken, I think I did their first two Revolution albums. I think first two or three lah. I think after that,
right.
yeah.
Yep, yep. Yeah,
Then
because they were touring right around Malaysia. So
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. So I think I knew the like Andy, Joel, the team
mm,
that Jack, shout out to them, yeah, the team. So
mm,
we work really really closely, and just great bunch of musicians and
yeah,
singers and everything. And credits goes more to them, it's down to them that made the things sound good. I cannot take
together.
the I can't, yeah, it's everyone, it's a whole team effort lah,
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
take cannot take all the credit. Everyone plays a role, everyone
for sure.
from the writers to the producers, the arrangers, the artists, the musicians.
Also your gear and your space. I'm sure
Oh,
it sounds amazing there.
it's nothing fancy, man. This is if you ever come down to KL one day, drop by, we'll have a little hang,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that
is
would be
a
lovely.
yeah. This is not no different from where you are right now. This is just a glorified home studio. All right, whatever I
Yeah.
have behind here. Yeah.
I'm sure it has some nice colors because I was in Maverick last December and it wasn't too fancy as well, but I mean the studio is very fancy. But
Mm-hmm.
our setup was just my Apollo into his, universal tube mic pre and a tube compressor into the AKG 414,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounded so good. Like wow. I
Wow.
was,
Okay. I have to just say this because when you mentioned was it an LE610?
yeah,
You talk about
yes,
LE610 into a
yes.
C414, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That it's two of my least favorite things.
Really?
I
What,
just have to bring
why?
it up. Again,
Ah,
it is more of everyone. I think has got
yeah,
their taste in what they like, lah. So I don't like four on
yeah.
four on vocals.
Okay, is
I
it
prefer
because
other
it's
stuff.
too thin or too bright?
It's usually a little bit too sibilant, you know,
Oh, okay,
for
okay.
for for
I
my
think
taste, lah.
that's for like rap, like especially
Yeah.
rap, because like I think Drake made this kind of mic famous. I think if I'm not wrong,
Mm-hmm.
he started using the C800G, the Sony, which is like a
Yep.
40K ringgit mic, but
Yeah.
it's super sibilant. But since then everyone is using it. Kendrick, everyone is
Mm-hmm.
is using that mic. So I think because 414 kind of reminds me of that. Hence, I'm like, whoa, I like it. But it's,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right that it's quite sibilant.
No, but
Yeah.
again, it boils down to everyone's got their own taste and their choice. A lot of people do like the 414.
Mm.
The Ali 610. I don't think it's not again, no disrespect to Universal Audio. Hey, you make great stuff. I know I've got a Lenses. I love
Preference.
them. Yeah, I just don't like the sound of the 610 preamp. You know,
Ah,
the pre's lah. It's the pre's that I don't like. The compressor section, which is the
okay.
basically the LE2A, right? The optical. That's great,
Yeah.
But
Okay.
again, everyone's got different areas. Some people will prefer the API. Some people prefer this, prefer that.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their preferences lah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that because I don't know because I've it's like my first time, especially like one of the song we did had like two sections. So the first part was like recorded in a different place, but the other part was recorded, with
Mm,
with the setup. So when I compared it, and especially, I've mixed a few of Joe's vocals. So when I heard that, I was like, wow, if everything, can be
could have
going
been,
through
yeah,
that chain, yeah, it would
yeah.
have been really nice. Which, yeah, Joe also agreed. So,
Oh, it's definitely great. I would say it's definitely just it's I wouldn't say that it's not a good sound. It's just preferences lah.
yeah,
Some people like their chili. Some people like their this and that. It's all
yeah,
down to taste, man. We could
yeah,
I trust me. We can you can get a whole room of engineers here. We can have this kind of debate and talk for
mhm,
hours and hours and hours, and we
yeah,
will go nowhere in circles lah. It's fun, yeah. But
yeah,
for the benefits of this video and the podcast episode, listeners are not going to like, there they go again. These
yeah,
two guys and engineers going off into their geeky
own world.
tech talk in the world. And we're probably losing I'm probably losing listeners and viewers or already lah, the past 10 minutes when we started talking about all the the techie
It's
stuff.
okay. They
Yeah,
can skip.
that's okay, that's fine, yeah. Super awesome, man. Yeah,
Okay,
so thank you so much, Jason, for doing this. All right.
no problem. Thank
And
you for having me.
yeah, it's been really fun. It's super cool and awesome to talk to you.
Yep.
Where
Likewise.
can people reach you? Where how do people hit you up?
Just my Insta DM is good. I mean, you can
Mm-hmm.
have my email, but
Oh
you
no,
don't have
just
to.
don't have
Yeah.
to. Just Instagram. No.
Yeah.
Don't put our email there. So
Yeah.
Insta would be
Just yep.
Jason Huang.
Jason with a E,
Yes.
Jeson. Huang at
One
yeah,
word.
no. Yep, just yep, one word, Jason Huang, and
Mm-hmm.
that's my kind of lucky to got that early, so I managed to get my name.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it
yeah.
helps to have a very unique spelling as well. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yep,
And
yep.
your website is mixed by Jason, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, mixed by Jason, yep.
Mixed
Mixedbyjason.com.
by JESON.com. Right.
Yep.
So, all right, Instagram, website, and if people want to hit up someone to mix your next track, your next record, right? You know where to hit up. Let's hit up
Yep.
Jason lah. So, good night. Happy
Yep.
mixing. If you're going to do some work,
Yep, yep, I am.
likewise, I'm actually gonna do some mix revisions as well, right? For this, that's our life lah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Cool, man.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Right.
JD.
And good night. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.